Is it time for recess yet? I'm so glad you found time to join us here on the Childcare Director's Chair, where Erica Sacoccio shares her best practices that she's refined through her passion of directing childcare centers over the last 23 years. From parenting interaction, systems to save you time, money, and stress, to profitability. She shares it all from the Childcare Director's Chair.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Childcare Director's Chair podcast. But guess what? Today is not just another episode. It's our 1-year anniversary. I'm so excited. I learned so much over the last year. Oh gosh, where do I even start? We'll talk about that, but I also want to talk a little bit about some of the highlights. But the first thing I noticed right away was not only did the listeners come out in the U.S. and support our show, but I also have to put off my hat to Australia and Canada. Both of those countries also have been extremely welcoming. Australia, you were the first ones out of the gate to start listening to my podcast. And Canada, I've made so many friends there. You guys tune in every day. But not only that, you have welcomed me into your hearts and to your homes, and even on your podcast. I've been on a couple of folks, three, almost four now, Canadian podcasts in the ECE space, and everybody that I met was like fantastic. So I'd love to say thank you for making me feel so welcome. And while I'm on the topic of thank yous, I cannot go without saying thank you to my friend Adrienne Bradley over at thrivingchildcare.com. She was the first person to really reach out and be like, let's collaborate. And then also our friends at Diapers to Destiny. We really connected at a conference and she became our second affiliate. And so it's just that support of women business owners supporting other business owners and ladies who really care about children and communities. So I can't not go without saying thank you to those ladies. They have been incredibly supportive of our podcast. You know, in the past year, I've learned so much about podcasting in the world of early childhood education and how we're all so connected. And it really has been enlightening to connect with so many passionate folks out in the field. And it was cool because I learned a lot about the differences, but I also learned a lot about how many similarities we all had in this field. We really face a lot of the same challenges and then also the same joys in our roles, which is, typically working with children and watching them grow throughout our program or, really becoming family with so many of our teammates and staff members as we work together year after year after year. For me personally, some of my team, we've been together 15, 20 years and we've watched each other's children grow. We've watched our parents age. We've been together through weddings, divorces, all the things. And this last year was no exception to that. I'd say some of the highlights too that I really enjoyed this year that have come from this podcast is getting out of my state and going to meet so many other folks in the field. I really enjoyed my time at the Jumpstart conference with Andrea Dickinson and all the people in Georgia. I had never been to any kind of conference like that in my life. And then I am so excited that I'd be heading out to Texas to go to Born to Teach with Latrice and meet all of you guys there. So just really getting out in this year and making those connections has been really fun and exciting. And I think what I'd like to say too is, gosh, I've gotten better. My first few 100 episodes now, my first few 20 or 30 episodes, like I was still so green and trying to figure it out and try to figure out, what am I going to say? And are people going to like me? And, so nervous. And what do people really want to hear? And what do they want to know from me? And as time went on, I really started to just feel more comfortable. And so my message, I guess, today would be that thing that you wanted to do that you haven't done, just go do it. Stop, letting things hold you back. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You fail. But if you don't try it all, you're 100% going to fail. So thank you all so much for being my safety net and making sure that my podcast actually didn't fail, but actually continues to grow week after week. I looked at our numbers for April and May, and the numbers from the prior 2 months literally doubled in downloads. So that certainly didn't happen by accident. That's all of you supporting my channel and telling a friend and sharing it on social media and subscribing to our YouTube channel, which is, I don't know, at this point, maybe 30 to 35 subscribers away from hitting 1,000. Which is a huge milestone for us here in Little Rhode Island with our little podcast and our little channel. But our goal is not to stay little for long. So if you haven't had an opportunity to go on over to our YouTube channel, please go hit that subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds and it really does mean the world. But I feel like I said, just like with the kids, we tell the kids to keep trying until they get it right, until they get it to a place where they feel good. And that's, that's what I feel this year. That's, as I'm reflecting, like this year I learned a lot, and I'm sure I'm going to continue to learn. I'm sure that our podcasts are going to get better and better, and we're going to bring on, the best guests that we can find and conversate and discuss what's going on in our fields. We're going to reflect on the work that we're doing daily, because I don't know that we reflect enough. And so I'm going to use that word reflection a whole heck of a lot, because I think it's important for you to stop sometimes in the day-to-day and think about not only what are you doing, because we can tend to run around in circles and be constantly putting out fires. But when I say think about what you're doing, I'm not even saying like your to-do list and your systems and all that, but the impact that you're making on people, all kinds of people, not just the little ones, because of course they matter, but also the big folks too, like how you're helping that single parent or that family that has 4 children, or how we're helping our communities. How are we, making sure that we're not just living our life in our 4 walls, but how our program is outreaching to our communities. How are we part of that? So I want you to be reflective as you put together your curriculum and, the things that you do, your community events, and be reflective and really find the things that speak to your heart. And I know that sounds really silly, but it's really what matters, right? People is what matters most. So I hope that resonates for you as well. I really just, we're not learning anything today. Here, maybe I'm learning about myself and just sharing a little bit, because that's what I feel like has happened over the last years, just learning about myself, and decided to really just hone down on what it is that I love. And it's all of you. It's all of my people. It's my ECE tribe. And when I say that, I mean globally. I mean, all the teachers who show up every day, all of the directors who don't throw in the towel, all the owners who have decided that they're going to stick it out and not sell their program, and not to be dismissive, because those of you who have done it for many, many years and decided it was time to hang up or pass the torch, if you will, and you are now giving to the community in different ways, of course, that's okay too. And we thank you for all the time that you have helped build strong children and communities. So, it's just my deepest gratitude that I want to say thank you to all of my incredible listeners. Your support has really just meant so much to me, and I can't wait to see where we bring this podcast next year. So this upcoming year, we're gonna do triple time, and we're just gonna continue to put in the work. Every day that you show up is another day that's inspiring to me to keep showing up and keep talking about the importance of what we do here and why we need support on the legislative area, on the funding area, on the support from our communities, our families, because again, child care centers are not the villain. We are just a bunch of small business owners like every other small business in your neighborhood. And we're all just, trying to do our best. So for those of you who acknowledge that and are out there advocating for us, I'd also like to say thank you so much. So with that, what I'd love to say is it's summer and I'm ready to hit the road. I would love to come to your program. I would love to do a training for your staff. If you're holding a conference, I would love to come out and do a workshop, a training, or even do a small keynote. I just could talk about ECE all day. And in fact, I do, because that's my passion. And so I'm not going to give up on our industry. I'm not going to give up on our children. I'm not going to give up on you. And I'm certainly not going to give up on this dream of making this be one of the best and biggest podcasts for ECE in the world. So thank you again to my group of listeners. Thank you for tuning in every day. And that's it. Remember, it's the small details that make a big impact, not only in your childcare business, but also in people's lives. So thank you for impacting mine and allowing me to live my dream. And I hope that I am pouring back into your cup as well. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you tomorrow.
Well, all the cute little kiddos have been picked up and it's time to go home. And that'll do it for another episode of the Childcare Director's Chair. Please leave a review so Erica knows the information is helping you to manage and improve your childcare centers. Remember to subscribe to get the latest episode from Erica's Childcare Director's Chair.